Green Show is back too. This season, I'm breaking down games, reacting to the biggest NBA stories. And trust me, I'm not holding back, on the court or on the mic. 2 new episodes every week. New segments, big conversations, real basketball talk for the real hoop heads. Listen to and follow the Draymond Green Show wherever you get your podcasts. We're back, we're better, let's get it.
What's up, Kansas City? It's Nick Bolton. Tune in on game days to hear the play-by-play with Mitch, Danon, and Clean on your home for Chiefs football, 96.5 The Fan.
KFNC FM and AM, HD1 and HD2 Kansas City, an Odyssey sports station.
Hey, happy Friday, everybody. If that's what we want to call it. I'm not gonna lie, I don't recall a December day in Kansas City feeling this lowly in a long time.
Logan, you do what you want. You're a grown man. I don't recommend getting on these airwaves on Monday night saying "Happy Monday, everybody." The text line might literally take your head off.
Yeah, that's the way it's trending. At least anybody with an 816 area code in the text line might be ripping my head clean off my shoulders, which is fair because I also happen to have an 816 area code. But it's a weird one. I have to say that. After hours here on 96.5 The Fan, Logan Weber alongside Nathan Williams. Our text line, 913-586-7965. Feel free to send in your messages. Just please, for the love of God, keep it appropriate. That's all I ask in the text line tonight. I understand there's going to be a lot of frustration coming from those who reside on the Missouri side of the state line today. Hey, good point. I got a 913 in the text line. It says, what are you talking about, buddy? JJ Piccolo's in his bag right now. Maybe that's what we should all be focusing on, right? Is what JJ Piccolo and the Kansas City Royals are doing right now, because they're building a roster here for us. A lot of complaints last offseason about how the team they didn't do enough to try to improve the team. Oh, you traded Brady Singer for Jonathan India and it didn't really do anything. So what exactly was the point? Well, this year, I think that they're kind of putting their money where their mouths are a little bit, and we'll definitely talk about that throughout the show here tonight. But let's get it out of the way. I feel like rip the Band-Aid off a little bit and discuss the news of the day today in the metro area, and that is the reports coming from the Kansas Legislative Coordinating Council, I believe it's called, the LLC.
You got it.
Or LCC, I should say. That there is plans for a meeting on Monday to discuss the Kansas City Chiefs and the possibility of them making the move across state lines over to Kansas. It's assumed the new stadium would be around or near the Legends shopping mall. That's according to the report from Fox 4. We'll see. It's hard to kind of go into all the language of it, but I think that this is something that has kind of felt like it was coming at some point, and whether that was people in Kansas who expressed a great deal of confidence in it, or people in Missouri that could kind of read the tea leaves a little bit and try not to more or less hold on for dear life in this situation, convince themselves, that was never a possibility. That was never going to happen. The Chiefs and the Royals aren't leaving, and this and that and the other thing. The lieutenant governor for Kansas went into the Department of Commerce today. There was this seems to be where this thing is going at this point. I don't know how else to say it. We've heard from, guys like Bob Fesco who have been saying this for quite some time. And I would frankly be surprised on Monday if we don't find out that the Kansas City Chiefs' new stadium come 2031 is going to be on the Kansas side.
I think you're safe in your prediction. And I would advise everyone to follow Bob Fesco on Twitter if you're not, because when this stuff breaks out, Twitter, it's going to be a hell of a day on Twitter. I'll just say that. It just, when there's smoke, there's fire, and there's so much smoke right now, Logan. There's so much smoke. Obviously, Commissioner Lavoda, Mayor Lucas, we've heard from them throughout the day today. They're saying it's not over. It may not be over. I also don't really buy the notion that they're privy to every piece of information that Kansas is. And same thing going the other way, that the Kansas House and legislature is privy to every piece of information that is being discussed between the Chiefs and Missouri. There is a lot of smoke here, and all the reporting from multiple stations here in town is that if the Chiefs attend this meeting Monday night, it is to finalize this, to get approval. So, yeah, I'll be refreshing the feed. I'll have the news on. I'll have 96.5 The Fan on all day Monday, because it could get serious real quick here.
And I mean, this is something that's obviously been coming for a while, right? That December 31st deadline that Kansas gave for the Star Bond proposal, that came out in what, February or March of this year?
Well, the deadline was originally June 30th.
Right, and then they moved it again.
Back. Yes.
So this has been the understanding. And for the last couple of weeks, the legislators in Kansas have been saying, we're not moving that date, which told me, okay, it's happening, right? And again, I talk about reading the tea leaves a little bit and putting together little pieces of what is a greater puzzle in the grand scheme of things. This all harkens back to a year and a half, almost 2 years ago, in that, Chiefs win a Super Bowl, the Royals have a stadium proposal, the Chiefs kind of attach themselves to it in February with a vote coming up in April for the folks of Jackson County, and it didn't work. Now, was there, a purposeful reason for why they joined so late to try to see if the thing would collapse on itself, which it ultimately did? I don't know. We know that the president of the Chiefs, and Mark Donovan, has talked a lot. There's been a lot of reports made about his interest in going to the state of Kansas, and things of people around Donovan who have said, things about not wanting to stay in Missouri and going to Kansas and yada, yada, yada. That just feels to me like where this thing has always gone, right? And as a Missourian, as somebody who grew up on the Missouri side of things, I think we all need to collectively be honest with ourselves and say that a great deal of the money that is being spent today in the Kansas City metro area happens to reside on the other side of that state line, okay? I mean, look at where the biggest population growth is happening. It's happening on the Kansas side. You look at the Topekas and the Overland Parks and the Missions, Shawnee. This is just kind of where it's been going. And 10 years ago, I would have been right there with some of you in the text line, throwing an absolute fit in an outrage about the Royals and the Chiefs possibly crossing the state line and going over to Kansas. I would have been irate. I'm not irate today, okay? More so than anything else, in today's day and age of sports, there are so many metropolitan cities across this country. And I know it's a small consolation. I know. And there's going to be those people that say, oh, well, if they go to Kansas, I'm never watching another Chiefs game, or I'm never watching another Royals game. Hey, that's your own prerogative, to each their own.
Well, you better enjoy this Sunday against the Titans then.
I guess. We'll talk about that, I'm sure. But for my money, I'd rather see them go 15 minutes onto the Kansas side of the state line than end up in Nashville or San Antonio or anywhere else in the country, because there are a lot of big metropolitan cities that are offering up lots and lots of money in terms of the billions of dollars to try to entice teams away from other major cities in order to bring a hot commodity into their communities.
I think the day that the teams officially start playing games in their new stadiums, wherever they are, will be the day that becomes the popular public sentiment. Hey, just thank goodness that we don't have owners that dangle to other cities over our heads. That happens almost everywhere else. Be as mad at them as you want right now. I'm not going to tell you that you're wrong. But yeah, we're very fortunate as a city that the discussion has been do we want to play 10 minutes on this side of state line or 10 minutes on that side of state line, not here or Nashville? We're very fortunate for that. Can we address, though, that the Chiefs have sort of benefited from the mess the Royals have made with their plan? And I think that's part of the reason people are reacting so harshly to this news. With the Royals, it's been, hey, it's almost apathy. I just want to know where they're playing and when. The Chiefs, I feel like the regular Joe Schmo from Blue Springs, like me growing up, it's been in the back of your mind this whole time. Hey, the Legends makes a lot of sense. And whereas the Royals have fielded all these offers for the Chiefs, it's been either Arrowhead Stadium at the Truman Sports Complex or the Legends. It just makes sense, like the point you were making about the economic status of the area. And so I think people are starting to take it seriously for the first time. They're saying these things out loud. But instead of that anger, Logan, I think they need to get on board with where you are, which is like in the acceptance phase. This thing's moving fast down the tracks.
There's nothing to be done, I believe, at this point. You know, I think that, unfortunately, for some, it's going to have that kind of effect of, oh, well, I live in Missouri or I grew up in Missouri, and because the team's going to Kansas, I'm not going to watch anymore. Okay. That feels a bit ridiculous in my view. There's plenty of people in Missouri that will cross the state line to go watch sporting. And people from the Kansas side have been doing it, crossing over into Missouri to watch the Chiefs and Royals for years and years and years. Why accept that we won't be able to afford season tickets? Who's to say you're not going to be able to afford season tickets? Yeah, they're going to be more expensive. They're putting billions of dollars into a new stadium. Unfortunately, that's the way things go. I don't blame you for not being happy about it. I wouldn't be happy about it.
But I want to cut in right there and say, like, let's talk about that, though, because the shift between, like, pre-Patrick Mahomes and post-Patrick Mahomes has already seen a huge effect there. And people are complaining about it, but it's not in this sense. Like, Logan, when I was in college, and this is almost 10 years ago now, so I'm dating myself a little bit. When I was in college, I bought they called it the season pass because they were dealing with the recent blackout issues from the pre-Andy Reid days. Mm-hmm. It was $200 for a season pass in the upper bowl. You can't get into one game until, these last few weeks, but in this entire Mahomes era, you can't get into one game for that price on the secondary market and hardly even from the team. So this outrage about, like, prices going up, like, it just sounds a lot like insecurity to me. It sounds a lot like anger to me, and that's fine. But I don't know. That's not a, we heard from some callers today on the drive as well. I listened on the way in talking about, hey, we can make the tailgating experience great if this thing goes over to Kansas. We can make the stadium loud if it goes over to Kansas. But I'm not telling you that, like, Arrowhead going away as we know it is not going to be sad. Of course it'll be sad. I grew up going to those games all the time. I would like nothing more than for that to continue to be a Wrigley Field, a Lambeau Field. It just doesn't sound like that's the way things are developing.
And I don't, and maybe I have a different opinion than others might, as I've been to Chiefs games my entire life, right? I never... Even going to games at Arrowhead, I've never been to a game at Lambeau Field. I don't think that the ambiance that surrounds Arrowhead Stadium even pales in comparison to a place like Lambeau Field, right? It always felt like this was never going to be the forever home of the Kansas City Chiefs. What makes Arrowhead Stadium great isn't Arrowhead Stadium. It's us, the fans of the team. So regardless of where they go, you can continue to make where the Chiefs play one of the most daunting road environments in the National Football League. It's not all about the stadium. That's just nature of the beast, man. Adapt or die.
I don't think it's Lambeau Field. I was fortunate enough to go to Lambeau the last time the Chiefs played there a few seasons ago. By the way, we should be able to have pass interference on a Hail Mary. That's a different conversation for a different day. No, the ambiance around Lambeau Field is special and it's different, but there is something. It is a tier below that's above the rest of the venues. Arrowhead Stadium, that is. The buzz as the afternoon develops towards a big night primetime game or playoff game in that parking lot, nowhere else in sports has that environment. They don't. And so I think it's fair for people to be worried about losing that if the team relocates. I think that's very fair.
I agree. I have no doubt in my mind that if the Chiefs leave the stadium complex, right, and they go to Johnson County or they go to Wyandotte County or somehow they end up in freaking North Kansas City, which is not going to happen. Regardless, I have no doubt in my mind that wherever they decide to move the stadium, a huge topic of importance for the Chiefs and for, the infrastructure of the stadium and whatever is around it is going to be creating that tailgating atmosphere. They're going to make sure that there is a level of parking that is still there that is going to allow for that tailgating to continue, because it is. I stand by a statement that I make to people all the time. When I meet people that aren't from this area, and I talk about where I'm from, and I always say I'm from Kansas City, and they're like, what's the best barbecue place in Kansas City? Get asked that all the time from people. The answer that I always give and will always give is the tailgating in the parking lot at Arrowhead Stadium. That, I cannot imagine that not being brought over to wherever the new Chiefs Stadium is. And will it continue to be called Arrowhead Stadium? That's another question that I find kind of interesting. I don't know. All we can sit here and do is continue to speculate on this whole thing, right? We've got sources, we've got people telling us things, and from what we're being told, it sounds like we would be surprised if it's not a done deal on Monday, that the Chiefs are going to Kansas. And that sentiment kind of extends over to the Royals as well. That's just where we are. 913-586-7965. We may continue to talk about this stadium conversation as we go along, but also want to talk about the Kansas City Chiefs, because I think they are currently exhibiting a subtle but not so subtle way of absolutely tanking for better draft position as the season comes to an end. We may discuss that next. Logan Weber alongside Nathan Williams. This is After Hours on 96.5 The Fan.
You're listening to After Hours, brought to you by Twin Peaks. Eats, drinks, scenic views on your home for Kansas City sports. 96.5 The Fan.
What's up, everybody? Nick Costos here with the Sports Betting Minute, brought to you by BetMGM. Make it legendary. Please gamble responsibly. Coming up Week 16 Pro Football Sunday, huge game in the NFC South. 7-7 Tampa, a 3-point road favorite at 7-7 Carolina. Total in the game 45.5. Now, Tampa's offense is the best unit in this game, but I don't think Tampa's that much better than Carolina to be a full 3-point road favorite in this game. And Carolina plays these high variance games, even though Carolina's not as good. I think Carolina is pretty well coached. So coming up on Sunday, Week 16 in pro football, the number has to be 3. Let's take Carolina +3, home dog on Sunday against Tampa. That's it for this Sports Betting Minute, brought to you by BetMGM. Download the BetMGM app today, and please gamble responsibly.
BetMGM and GameSense remind you to play responsibly. See BetMGM.com for terms. 21 plus only. Kansas only. Please gamble responsibly. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In partnership with Kansas Crossing Casino and Hotel.
I'm worth more.
I'm worth a little more.
I'm worth a lot more.
I completely agree. You are worth more, and your car's worth more, and we want to pay more at GiveMeTheVin.com for good cars, because they are worth more, and so are you. And remember, if I don't beat the price on a CarMax or a Carvana deal, I'll pay you $100. For top price, trust, and ease of transaction, GiveMeTheVin.com, America's best car buyer.
Sell us your car. GiveMeTheVin.com. So easy you can do it in your underwear.
For moments worth more, celebrate this holiday season with Stella Artois. Stella Artois is teaming up with your local Hy-Vee and Johnny's to help make your holiday gatherings a little brighter. Whether you're hosting family, catching up with friends, or raising a toast to togetherness, let Stella elevate the moment. Visit your nearby Hy-Vee or Johnny's and enter at the Stella Artois displays for a chance to win a $100 gift card. For more details, go to 965thefan.com. Stella Artois. Enjoy responsibly.
The world's largest
sportsbook at your fingertips has arrived in Missouri. Circa Sports is sports betting the way it should be. With high app limits, player-friendly pricing, and exceptional customer service, Circa Sports is better for the better. From football to basketball, college sports to pro, start betting like the pros in Missouri. Built for sports bettors by sports bettors. Download your new bookie today at circasports.com. Must be 21 or older. For problem gambling, call the Problem Gamblers Helpline at 1-800-522-4700.
This is the story of the one. As the purchasing manager at a manufacturing plant, she knows the only thing more important than having the right safety gear is having it there when you need it. That's why she partners with Grainger for auto reordering, so her team members can count on her to have cut-resistant gloves on hand, and each shift can run safely and efficiently. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
I know that hiring can be challenging. You need someone to match your role perfectly. Well, now you can meet them fast on ZipRecruiter.
Build your team, build it sooner. Meet your match on ZipRecruiter.
Just head to ZipRecruiter.com/free right now to try it for free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Meet your match on ZipRecruiter. Try it free.
Tonight, expect a low of 39 with partly cloudy skies.
Weather brought to you by Staples. Have an easy holiday at Staples. Save on top tech and gaming gifts, shipping supplies and services to get your packages there safely, even custom cards and wrapping paper. Staples. That was easy.
Hey guys, it's Cody Tapp, and come watch the game with me on Sunday, starting at noon at Dave & Buster's at the Legends. And you'll have a chance to win an autographed Jalen Watson jersey, plus Guns N' Roses tickets. Come join me in 96.5 The Fan at Dave & Buster's at the Legends, where every game is a big game.
Did you know we have an Instagram channel? MVP Monday, Chiefs Take Tuesday, Best Bets, Fantasy Football Advice, and real-time updates during Chiefs games. Get behind-the-scenes content from all the guys on a daily basis. It's exactly why Instagram was created, to look at a bunch of 30-year-old dudes giving sports opinions. Kansas City's FM sports station, and your home for Kansas City sports. 96.5, The Fan.
There's absolutely no way to win this, is there? Like, as a mouthpiece for a conversation of this magnitude, there's just no way to win. Like, I don't know how to play both sides of this conversation because I see both sides of this conversation. My opinion is I'd rather they be anywhere, right? I mean, you know, I'm in a conversation with somebody here over the text line. It's an 816 who, you know, says the Chiefs, since their inception, have been the Kansas City, Missouri Chiefs. Chiefs people from, you know, Kansas can go see a game, but the team was the Kansas City, Missouri Chiefs. No, it wasn't. When has anybody ever referred to the Kansas City Chiefs as the Kansas City, Missouri Chiefs? They don't. It was located in Missouri, and then he comes back with the argument of, well, Logan, is the airport to Kansas City, Missouri airport or the Kansas City airport? It's the Kansas City airport. It's KCI. Nobody refers to it as the Kansas City airport, first of all, or the Kansas City, Missouri airport. It's KCI, it's MCI. It's just the airport, and it works for both. Yes, it's in Missouri. Again, that's because all the money was on the Missouri side 40, 50, 60 years ago. It's just not anymore. We all just kind of have to accept that that's the way it is, man.
Well, it's kind of just like a bigger statement on like just Kansas City, like as a society as a whole. Like nobody outside of the residents of Jackson County, maybe a few of the other surrounding counties on the Missouri side, no one else on planet Earth cares about the clarification between KCK and KCMO. Nobody. No one. Not people in KCK, not people in Nebraska, not people in Europe. People don't care about that. Now, it's funny. It's like funny to correct somebody when you're in a new city or you're talking to someone who's not from the area and you're like, actually, it's in Missouri. And I know that the word Kansas is in it. Like we get that whole thing. Nobody else cares. Like, yeah, they've been in Missouri and people in Kansas have gone to the games. Guess what? You as a Missouri resident can still go to the games. They're not now adopting the name Kansas City, Kansas Chiefs, just like they didn't have the name Kansas City, Missouri Chiefs. Nothing is changing. And I'll go back to, we watched this a decade ago in St. Louis because, you know, people are upset on the text line about being priced out by these new seat licenses, and I understand the concern. Are we shocked that rich people want more money? I'm not. And when the billionaire owner in St. Louis wanted more money, he gypped him. They put out a very half-assed plan, way more so than the Chiefs did. It didn't even go to a public vote, and they were on their way to L.A. So, yeah, I've got to drive 10 minutes to the other side of state line than I currently do now to watch the Chiefs, but I am with you. I just don't care. I'm glad they're staying in the area.
I'm with you. Somebody, 913 says, how dare Clark move the Chiefs to KCK? His father is rolling in his grave, disgraceful to Lamar. Why would Lamar Hunt care which side of the state line it's on, as long as it's in Kansas City? That was always his prerogative, is he wanted the team here. He wanted stability here. And some imaginary line that somebody came up with hundreds of years ago is going to dictate that? It's Kansas City, Kansas, and Kansas City, Missouri.
Guys, the Chicago Bears are surveying sites in Indiana right now.
Yeah.
Are we
the
concerned
Jets
about
and
the
Giants
McCaskey
play
family?
in New Jersey?
Like, what are we talking about?
The Minnesota Vikings, who are in Minneapolis, play their games in St. Paul. Like, what are we getting at here? The Los Angeles Rams play in Inglewood. The San Francisco 49ers play in Santa Clara. Why are we acting like this is new?
I'm almost
At
out of
least they're
examples,
still
but
in
yes.
Kansas City. Like, if they go over to the Legends, they're still in Kansas City. It just has a KS abbreviation, not an MO abbreviation. It's still Kansas City, folks.
Yeah, and don't worry. I love this text from the 816. Love it. You get the rest of the night off, man. When the Chiefs are playing on Monday Night Football, they're not going to all of a sudden be taking their cameras down the streets of KCK, showing the neighborhoods and the Dave & Buster's. Shout out Dave & Buster's, though, coming back from the breaks. It's still going to be the same shots of the Kauffman Center and the World War I Museum. Like, it's no less Kansas City's team once this move happens. It's just not.
Yeah, they are going to continue to show Union Station and the World War I Memorial and the Nelson Atkins Museum. Yes, because the historical infrastructure of the Metro still resides in Kansas City, Missouri. Again, they could have gone so many other places. The Royals and Chiefs both. Think articles or reports coming out about, Nashville is willing to pay billions of dollars to bring a baseball team over. And there's been grumblings about San Antonio, which is one of the most major metropolitan cities in the country that doesn't have professional baseball or professional football.
I think regardless of who came calling, I didn't really ever even have the thought that the Chiefs would consider moving, even when San Antonio put that release out about, hey, we're contacting them, and Dallas put out a memo saying we could use a second team. Like, I never really thought the Hunts would look somewhere else. I didn't think Sherman would look somewhere else, but it was much more plausible in my mind. They go to one of these cities that has been up for a while for a baseball team. And look, I've got to take a different route to the stadium now, and I'm going to be, getting drunk on a different parking lot than I currently am. Losing the Arrowhead as we know it, and like risking that becoming something different, it's no fun. And I'm with the text line on that, but everything else just doesn't matter in my mind. It just doesn't.
Yeah. I mean, listen, this is an argument and a conversation that we are all sitting here having. And again, I'm 27, almost 28 years old, for as many of the people here, right? You, Nathan, most of you here on the text, this is all we've known for the Kansas City Chiefs is Arrowhead Stadium. And for a lot of us, we're going to have to adapt to something different. And for our children, this isn't even going to be a second thought in their minds. This is how sports collectively has gone in the last 20 or 25 years across all things, right? The amount of change that we have undertaken here in the last 25 years is astronomical. You look at college athletics and the advent of NIL and the transfer portal and revenue sharing and buyouts and all these things. It's become a completely different atmosphere than it used to be. And I mean, it's insane. A third of the NFL, a third of the league plays in a different city than the one that they claim to represent in their team's name, right? The Rams and the Chargers in Inglewood, which we mentioned. The Giants and Jets playing in East Rutherford, New Jersey. The Niners in Santa Clara. The Raiders, the Las Vegas Raiders, don't technically play in Las Vegas. Their location is Paradise, Nevada. The Cowboys play in Arlington. Somebody in the text line mentioned that. The Washington football team, their current stadium is in Landover, Maryland. The Miami Dolphins play in Miami Gardens, Florida.
I would say the Rays play in St. Petersburg, but actually they're playing in a AAA stadium that's back in Tampa now because the St. Petersburg thing collapsed, but they would have fit this bill prior to last offseason.
Right. It's just, the Bills play in Orchard Park, you know? Yeah, there's
Bills used to play half of their games in Toronto when we were growing up. I mean, it's so common. It is.
The Bears are talking, like you said, they're talking about going to Indiana. And the governor of Illinois is in all sorts of a tizzy over that. And yeah, change initially sucks. And for those of us who have grown up with Arrowhead Stadium and Kauffman Stadium and it's all we've ever known, yeah, it's unfortunate. It really does suck. It does. I won't argue that point. And I can understand your frustration and I understand you being disappointed. And I know that it's a small consolation and maybe too glass half full for you in this moment. I just want them here, man. I just want the teams I grew up for staying in the Metro. I don't care which side of that imaginary line that it resides on. And I know the imaginary line means a lot more than I'm making it out to be, but I just want it to be here, man. Somebody in the text line. I'm just tired of having to explain that Kansas City is actually in Missouri. Also, this is only going to make things tougher. I'm kidding, obviously. Yeah, that's the hard part, you know. We're no longer going to be able to correct the TV when somebody says, oh, the Chiefs in Kansas City, Kansas. It's like, no, they're actually in Missouri. Well, we're no longer going to be able to make that correction anymore. People are actually going to say it what used to be wrong and get it right. And now we're going to be the ones that accidentally say it wrong. We're so used to Kansas City, Missouri that it's going to take us a while.
That's right. When that artist at the concert screams, "What's up, Kansas?" It can't go viral online anymore. They're going to be right. That does stink.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. What about the New England Patriots, right? They play in Foxborough. They don't play, they claim to be Boston's team, but they play in Foxborough, although Boston's not in the name. Where are y'all from? So, Nathan, you grew up in Blue Springs, right? So
That's right, Blue Springs Independence.
Yeah, you grew up right there, right by the stadium, 15-minute drive. My wife and I live in Grain Valley now, but we both grew up in Lawson, Missouri. So, north side of the metro. It's about a 45-minute drive to the stadium.
But comfortably on the Missouri side if no one knows where Lawson is.
Yes.
You are securely in the state of Missouri.
Yes. At Lawson, at Ray Clay County, over in that general area of things. I grew up in a town where you had to drive 10 minutes to Excelsior Springs if you wanted to get groceries. You had to drive 20 minutes to Liberty if you wanted to do any kind of shopping. And if you wanted to do fancy shopping, you would drive about 30 minutes and you'd hit Zona Rosa in Kansas City. That's where you
so I know we're way late to a break. We got to get to Jordan. I know all those things, but just real quick, like the sentiment from the text line about like you're doing this for your own like interest. There are a lot of Missouri guys here at the station.
Yeah.
You, Bink, Dusty, Cody, CDOT, like this is not a bunch of like Kansas homers that are rooting for the Chiefs to come over. This is us going off of the things that we're being told and fed. And so like everyone's like, oh, the Jeff City meetings didn't get this sort of run. It's like, well, there wasn't this sort of traction leading up to the Jeff City meeting. I don't know what you want us to talk about. It's the biggest news in the city, and I'm not rooting for the Chiefs to go to Kansas. I've said a few times, losing this version of Arrowhead is not going to be fun. It's not. But like, this is what's happening.
It's the way it's going, man, whether we like it or not. And yeah, you claim that we want to support the Kansas, like we're all from Kansas. Is like, no, that's
they're not the San Antonio Chiefs. I'm good.
Bingo. That's exactly my sentiment. 913-586-7965 is our number. Coming up next, we're going to have Jordan Foote on with us. He is a writer and reporter covering the Kansas City Chiefs and the NFL as a whole. We may ask him a little bit about the news today, about the stadium move, as well as the season and team as a whole, as we all just anxiously await the offseason at this point, because there is nothing more to look forward to necessarily on the field. That's next. Logan Weber alongside Nathan Williams, After Hours, here on your home for Kansas City Sports, 96.5 The Fan.
You're listening to After Hours, brought to you by Twin Peaks. Eats, drinks, scenic views on your home for Kansas City Sports, 96.5 The Fan.
What's up, Missouri? Tony Gonzalez here. Your moment is finally here because DraftKings Sportsbook is live in Missouri. You can get in on all the action with fast withdrawals, a safe and secure app, and betting that's easy to use anywhere you go. And the best part, DraftKings keeps the excitement going with awesome promos and offers all season long. That's why it's America's top-rated sportsbook app. Don't wait. New customers sign up today. Bet just $5 and get $300 in bonus bets instantly. Let's go, Missouri. Get in the game.
Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use code 965. New Missouri customers bet $5 and get $300 in bonus bets instantly. That's code 965 in partnership with DraftKings Sportsbook. The crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. 21 and over. Physically present in Missouri. Eligibility and restrictions apply. Terms at DraftKings.com/sportsbook. Bonus bets expire 7 days after issuance. For additional terms and responsible gaming resources, see sportsbook.draftkings.com/promos.
We love entertaining during the holidays, but we also love spending time with friends and family. That's why we're letting Hy-Vee do everything, because Hy-Vee has convenient pre-made holiday meal packs for any size gathering. Made fresh and ready-to-heat menu favorites like succulent turkey, honey glazed spiral ham, or prime rib, plus savory sides, rolls, and a choice of dessert. And don't forget the wine and spirits department. So pick up your meal the day before the holiday and then just heat and serve on the big day. This holiday season, let Hy-Vee do the cooking while you take the credit, only at Hy-Vee.
Score big savings with Hy-Vee and the Kansas City Chiefs. Big points mean even bigger savings. Just shop Hy-Vee the day after a game and earn a fuel saver discount equal to the Chiefs score and based on the amount you spend. If the Chiefs score 42 points, you save 42 cents a gallon with any $42 purchase. The more we score, the more you save. Win or lose, everyone scores the day after a Chiefs game only at Hy-Vee. Offer good in-store and online. Some restrictions apply. See store for details.
Legendary doesn't happen by chance. It happens because it's what BetMGM does. Sign up for BetMGM and check out all the exciting new ways you can make this football season unforgettable. Enjoy our all-new app design and same-game parlay builder, which will take your experience to a new level. Earn BetMGM rewards points from your bets, take advantage of football promos found nowhere else, like a second chance offer on a first touchdown bet, and keep an eye out for rewards dropping in your account throughout the season. Never settle for ordinary. Sign up today. BetMGM. Make it legendary. BetMGM and GameSense remind you to play responsibly. See BetMGM.com for terms. Must be 21 years of age or older to wager. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Available in the U.S. For New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369. For Arizona, 1-800-NEXT-STEP. For Massachusetts, 1-800-327-5050. For Iowa, 1-800-BETS-OFF. For Puerto Rico, 1-800-981-0023. Subject to eligibility requirements, promotions may vary by market. In partnership with Kansas Crossing Casino and Hotel.
The Sheet Metal Workers Local Number 2 Enrichment Grant is providing one local high school $20,000 to use on upgrades and equipment. Open to all area schools and no strings attached. Take a minute to tell us what your high school needs at helpmymocanschool.com, and we'll announce the winner January 4th on the Chiefs Radio Network.
After Hours here on 96.5 The Fan. Logan Weber alongside my producer for tonight's show, Nathan Williams, hanging out until 9 o'clock tonight. On the line with us right now is Jordan Foote. He is a writer-reporter covering the Kansas City Chiefs, the NFL as a whole. And, you know, Jordan, I wanted to have you on to talk about football-related things, and we may get to that. But, of course, the massive news of today so far is the alleged decision coming down the pike potentially on Monday of the Chiefs hopping across state lines over to the Kansas side of things. And let's just say people in the text line are not being the most calm about it that I've seen when it comes to these conversations. What are you hearing about that, and what do you make of the potential decision of the Chiefs going over to Kansas and leaving Missouri?
Yeah, Logan, it's been a wild, bumpy ride here. And from the vote where, you know, people had their opportunities to go make it known where they stood and where they wanted the Chiefs to be, and the conversations about funding. And I think we oftentimes forget that for quite a while the Royals were wrapped up into those conversations as well, and everyone thought that the Chiefs were just kind of waiting for the Royals to get their plan figured out and then potentially, renovate the complex they have or make their decisions from there. And you add in the concept of a dome and whether that would be worth it compared to the price. Yes, you probably would get some major sporting event, if not a Super Bowl at some point. All of it coming to a head of, okay, now Kansas is kind of flexing a little bit and acting like that they have this thing rolling and that they're going to get the Kansas City Chiefs. Getting a firm, finalized answer out of someone seems to be the second hardest thing next to following the 2025 Kansas City Chiefs. So that's kind of where I'm at right now. I do think that Monday is going to be a big day, but the Chiefs are going to do what they're going to do. Kansas seems pretty dead set, or at least confident on what's going to happen. And as a Kansas resident, I've never really had too much of a lean either way. I kind of like where they're at. I think that it's a neat spot, even with the lack of a fun backdrop or a dome or anything like that. Just as a football guy at heart, I think that it's a good place for them to be. And it's kind of unfortunate, not even if they leave, but just that everything has kind of taken so long and how many turns have been made along the way.
Yeah, there's a lot that's being thrown around right now, and unfortunately, maybe for these conversations, a lot of heated debate and discourse about a Kansas City Chiefs team that, as of right now, is not playing great football. Right, they are mathematically eliminated from playoff contention. Mahomes had surgery on Monday for a torn ACL and LCL. They are in salary cap purgatory. They don't have tremendous draft capital. Things are as grim as they've been for the Kansas City Chiefs in close to a decade right now. Where do you stand with how things sit at the moment? I mean, a lot of guys out, that have been listed as out for the game on Sunday. Is this a subtle or maybe not so subtle attempt at the Chiefs to more or less tank for better draft position coming up in April?
I lean no, and I really want to lean no, and I know if you're a Chiefs fan, at least I'd say over half of them, just going based on the friends and even colleagues that I've talked to, many people want them to have this soft tank and say, okay, we want a better draft pick. We don't want to be picking closer to 16. They want to be pushing for like a top 10 pick where I think it's Washington, Cincy. The other team might be New Orleans. That's at 4-10 right now. You've got Atlanta, whose pick is going to the Rams. Then I think it's Miami, Kansas City, and off the top of my head, Minnesota at 6-8. Someone might have to double-check my math on all of that. But they're right now sitting in that 12 spot thinking, okay, this is the best pick they've had in quite a while. It's the best pick, if you're a Chiefs fan, hopefully they've had it or will have for quite some time. And you can get a decent prospect, do some damage, get a blue chipper, whether it is a defensive lineman. If you want to take Sadiq from Oregon and revitalize the receiving core, the tight end spot, you can go a lot of different ways. I've seen and heard Jeremiah's Love name quite a bit over the past few days, but I don't think the Chiefs are intentionally going to lose games. As someone who is very anti-tanking in any capacity, I just think it fosters the wrong culture, sends the wrong message, and a team like the Chiefs that has been so steadfast about the right culture, the right people in place, the right message, the right direction. Organizationally, I get the philosophy as a fan. I get the philosophy. They do have several players who are banged up. Now, does that mean that if guys are quote-unquote hurt, okay, sit, you're done? There are more than one reason to do all of that. But I don't think the Chiefs are going to straight up say that they're going to lose, and Matt Nagy's talked about it. Steve Spagnuolo has talked about it. I believe Andy Reid has been pretty consistent in, even with the season over, in rare territory, they're not going to let anybody throw in the towel at all.
So let's just say, for the sake of the hypothetical here, the Chiefs go 1-2 from here on out, and they finish the year 7-10. They're somewhere between like 12 and 14 in terms of their draft position. And you can see, Jeremiah Love is on the board. The Sadiq kid from Oregon is on the board. What position are you of the opinion the Chiefs should focus on first and foremost if they are in a position like that where they are a mid first round pick and maybe even on the early side of those mid-tier selections?
This is the best part of the year, I think, from now until the NFL Combine to ask that kind of question, because someone can clip any audio from any radio segment pretty much in the country, and it can either be absolutely spot on, or some of these players that we talk about might not even go in the first round. Heck, some of them might fall to mid to late round 2, like a Ruben Bain from Miami. I personally think he's awesome. I'm very high on him. I think that he's going to be a tremendous NFL player. There's been media, specifically draft media, in the past week. Some people are thinking that he could fall out of the first round. Like, I'm thinking this is a slam dunk top 10 pick if the Chiefs took him and make a ton of sense. Love, again, makes sense. Now, I do think that they have bigger fish to fry. I would go in the trenches on the defensive side, whether it's like Peter Woods from Clemson, Falk from Auburn has been having his name thrown out there, David Bailey, the guy from Tech. There is talent there. Sadiq is intriguing. Mekhi Lemon, the wideout from USC, I've seen his name a few times. So those guys are going to go up, go down. The Combine is going to change some of that, the pre-draft process. Some guys are going to decide ultimately that they're going back. But now that bowl games are happening, the college football playoff is kicking off, you're getting a better idea of who's going to be there. The Chiefs know that they don't need a quarterback, the most important position in sports. They're going to be just fine there once Mahomes recovers. So if I had to rank it, I'd go probably edge/interior defensive line, number 1, maybe wide receiver, number 2, and you can pretty much take your pick for that third spot.
I threw out this hypothetical last week, or I should say earlier this week, and it's one that I sort of gravitate towards a little bit just because the Chiefs haven't been in this high a position and as we've said, quite a long time. What about the possibility of the Chiefs, say they end up with the 13th overall pick, and they have an opportunity to trade back to 20 and pick up an additional second-round pick or something of that magnitude to give themselves more draft capital, which we know this team obviously needs. Would that be an enticing possibility, or should the Chiefs stay pat with that mid-first round pick and try to find an impact guy with an earlier selection in the first round?
I see both sides of it. I really do. And you can go, it comes down to, everyone's going to say, okay, well, I have the Chiefs pick. Let's say they are, like you said, at 13 or something. And you're like, okay, a team from 28 wants to come back. That, on the Rich Hill chart, gets you 127 net, which would get you pick, 46 to 47 in the draft. And you can pick up something there. Now, there are ways to combine that, and you can get maybe a couple lesser picks throughout the draft and really get a bigger treasure trove of picks, or teams can operate on different models too, and your picks can have 2 different values. So it's hard to narrow down exactly what they would get, but I totally would understand and say you are trying to get more bites at the apple. I'm not one that totally believes that Brett Veach is just straight up a lot better on days 2 and 3 of the draft. I think there's some weird sample size stuff there. Development's different. And it's really that he hasn't been tremendous in the first round, and there have been times he hasn't had that pick. On the flip side, though, Logan, this is probably the only time, and if you're a Chiefs fan, you're really hoping and praying it's the only time, they're going to have this good of a first-round pick for quite a while. If you were trying to set up the second era, so to speak, of Patrick Mahomes' career, the second half perhaps, you really want to get a blue chipper, and you probably aren't going to get that. Trent McDuffie was a little bit earlier in the draft that he went, but still, this is a different pick than even that. Like, you were getting a legitimate chance to get a 5 to 10 year starter on your team at a premium position. I think I would lean just keep your pick and stick and pick where you're at, but I totally understand if they did get a good deal from a team that was desperate to, move up for a quarterback or had one player they really wanted. Now, hindsight's going to be 20/20. We would judge based on who they got with those selections, but that process is not inherently a bad thing.
All right, let's change the subject here. Last question I've got for you, Jordan. the Royals are doing a lot this offseason, making the trade today for Strahm, bringing in an all-star caliber left-hand reliever. They made the deal last week as well. They've extended Maikel Garcia. Now there's the conversation about another outfield bat, and they've expressed interest in Jarren Duran, but it sounds like right now the asking price is Cole Reagan. So from your standpoint, we've had this conversation on this show before, and we'll have it again tonight. Would you be willing 1-to-1 Cole Reagans for Jarren Duran in order to bring another outfield bat to this Kansas City Royals lineup for next year?
I wouldn't. And I think that the conversations about trading Cole Reagans, we're having them about the wrong Royals starting pitcher. Now, the caveat to that, he's way more valuable than Kris Bubic. I think the fact that Kris Bubic has not been moved yet and there's been so much smoke about it shows they're trying. They have had conversations and the phones have been ringing, and his value just isn't what people thought it was going to be. And by people, I mean the Kansas City Royals. So the lack of long-term club control, the lack of long-term efficiency and effectiveness as a starting pitcher, the lack of long-term health, and the long-term track record of injuries with him, I still think you try to make something like that happen. And it's probably not going to be a Marte or a Duran or this superstar guy, but could it be I don't even want to call it necessarily a buy low. This guy's quote-unquote only 33, and he was still a positive player last year. But could you get a Teoscar Hernandez type thing going on where it solves part of what you need between the acquisitions they've made? You're bringing in Elaine Thomas. You're making moves. The bullpen is a little bit more formidable. Isaac Collins is going to help. They have platoon options. They have depth options in the outfield. You do need one more piece, I think, before you can realistically not talk postseason, but just straight up expect it. And a guy of that level, I think, can get you over the top. It's not going to have to be a Duran or a Marte, although both of those guys would help a ton. And I think that everyone in Kansas City would be happy long-term if either of those happened.
I'm with you 100%. I don't think a 1-to-1 for Reagans and to get Duran is necessarily adequate trade value for an ace caliber, Cy Young caliber pitcher of the type that is Cole Reagans. Jordan, I appreciate you taking the time tonight. I know that it's tough sledding right now covering the Kansas City Chiefs, and this whole stadium news this week has certainly not helped alleviate some of your weekend concerns, I'm sure, but we'll all wait around and see what happens on Monday and see if we have an official announcement that the Kansas City Chiefs are going to be crossing over into Kansas.
Yep, we're going to find out soon, buddy. Thanks for having me on.
No problem. Again, that is Jordan Foote, writer-reporter covering the Kansas City Chiefs. Been doing it a long time. Great friend, good friend of the show as well. Always enjoy being able to visit with him. 913-586-7965 is our number. We'll take a break, come back, maybe answer a few more of your questions here in the text line, and then I don't want to talk about the stadium anymore. Okay, can we just do that for the next 2 hours? We've got college football playoff stuff like happening right now that I would like to discuss as well, along with the Royals, because I love what the Royals are doing right now. And I want to talk about Reagans for Duran, because I think, personally, it's a bad idea. After Hours, Logan Weber alongside Nathan Williams, 96.5 The Fan, your home for Kansas City sports.
The Kansas Chiefs. You're listening to After Hours, brought to you by Twin Peaks. Eats, drinks, scenic views on your home for Kansas City sports. 96.5 The Fan.
This is it, the moment you've been waiting for. Saturday, December 27th at Harrah's, Kansas City, Fortune takes center stage. Every 5 minutes from 2:40 p.m. to 10:55 p.m., we're dishing out $1,000 in free casino play, fueling the excitement all day long. But wait, there's more. At 11 o'clock, the spotlight shines on one lucky winner who will claim $25,000 in cash. Are you ready to win big? Only at Harrah's, Kansas City, where the luck is all yours. 21 and older to gamble, know when to stop before you start. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Hey, Kansas City, this is Jeff Briggs with Victory Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram. I cannot believe it. It's time to wrap up the year. And folks, I'll just say this. At Victory, we plan on finishing the year strong. To do so, I need your support, and in return, I'm going to offer you the nation's best deal on a new Dodge, Chrysler, Jeep, or Ram product. In fact, if you can find a better price on a comparable vehicle anywhere in the U.S., I'll beat it by $500. Business owners, truck drivers, family vehicle seekers, December's incentive packages include deals for everyone. There are so many offers available for December, I can't possibly promote them all, so I've made it easy. Simply visit VictoryMotorsKC.com and click on the conveniently placed year-end specials banner right on the homepage. You'll go straight to deals like this. Ram 2500 heavy duty starting at $36,988. New 2025 Jeep Compass Limited starting at $28,830. And an unbelievable $17,000 off on new Jeep Wrangler Rubicons. Someone needs to come purchase this iconic Jeep today and have instant equity. Stop by the Legends Auto Plaza or visit us at VictoryMotorsKC.com, where our first price is better than their last.
Hey, college football fans, it's Dusty Likens here to tell you it's time to lock in on those playoff showdowns with BetMGM. Whether you're riding on an upset or hoping the favorite dominates, take your excitement to the next level with an Odds Boost token. Log in to your BetMGM account to receive your token, then place a bet on any college football matchup with your activated token. If your boosted bet hits, you'll score a bigger payout. No matter where the action is, betting with the boost will make the biggest games of the season even more memorable. Don't miss out on BetMGM's lineup of promotions for the biggest college football showdowns of the year. Log in to claim your Odds Boost token. The game is about to kick off, so own the moment with BetMGM. BetMGM and GameSense remind you to play responsibly. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. See BetMGM.com for terms. 21 and older only. Missouri only. Existing customer offer. Subject to eligibility requirements. Rewards vary and expire in 7 days. Please gamble responsibly.
With the first pick in the McDonald's breakfast draft, I'm going with a tasty sausage, egg, and cheese McGriddle sandwich. Bold move, sweet, savory, totally stacked. But wait, that delicious sausage McMuffin with egg sandwich is still on the board. Lucky for me, McD lets you mix and match two for just $5. And right now, any size iced coffee is only $1.89. Breakfast at McDonald's. That's the real winning deal. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba. Prices and participation may vary. Cannot be combined with any other offer or combo meal. Single item at regular price.
Game Day headquarters is at Dave & Buster's, the ultimate watch destination. 30-plus screens, including jaw-dropping 40-foot TVs. We'll put you in the center of the action. Join Cody Tapp with 96.5 The Fan this Sunday, December 21st, from noon to 2 p.m. at Dave & Buster's, 1843 Village West Parkway off I-435 and I-70 in Kansas City. Enjoy half-price games Sunday through Thursdays. No purchase necessary. Cheer on KC at Dave & Buster's, where every game is a big game.
Hey, Chiefs fans, Crown Royal is the official whiskey of the Kansas City Chiefs. And this season, it's not game day without the generous spirit of Crown Royal. Whether you're at the tailgate, in the stands, or watching from home, Crown Royal is the reason and the reward for coming together. Grab a glass with the Crown Royal rig at a stadium near you, because we'll be sharing the generous spirit with fans across the country. Crown Royal, fueling game day with a generous spirit. Visit www.crownroyal.com/Royal Rig for more on the Crown Royal Rig Tour. Please drink responsibly.
You're listening to 96.5 The Fan from the DM Injury Law Studios. Mike's got this.
You know the cliche, you learn something new every day? Well, I learned something new today. Somebody in the text line earlier mentioned the original Kansas City Chiefs logo. And so I was curious because I thought I knew what the original logo looked like. I guess I didn't. The original Chiefs logo, it actually shows a picture of what I believe to be a Native American of some kind with a headdress, tomahawk in his hand,
Yeah, it's
right?
like the guy running, right?
Right, running.
Yeah.
With outlines of the states of Arkansas, Oklahoma, Kansas, Missouri, Nebraska, and Iowa in the background. That's the original logo of the Kansas City Chiefs. Not just the state of Missouri outlined in the background. 6 states, right? It was supposed to be Kansas City is the Midwest team. We've all heard those snippets from Lamar Hunt talking about the Chiefs and what he hopes the legacy of the organization becomes. He wanted it to be a worldwide brand, check, and become a team that everybody in the Midwest could root for, quote unquote. So I know those of us in Missouri who grew up here have such an affinity for it, but Lamar Hunt never said, no, the team has to stay in Missouri. The original logo shows 6 states here.
Look, Lamar Hunt moved the team from Texas.
Yeah.
I mean, it's moved in its existence. Logan, as the resident Iowa fan, does the state of Iowa have an equivalent of star bonds that it's proposed to the Chiefs over the last few years?
I doubt it.
I don't think so. I was just being hyperbolic with that one. We talk so much about the way that we feel about this, where it should go, and how you and I just like that they're in the metro. But since we sort of strayed away from that conversation, a lot of the texts we've been getting are, hey, the economic impact is going to be negative to Jackson County. And I don't think either of us are shying away from that. I just think that's it's something that we can get into at a later date once the decision has been made and become final. But B, in my mind, goes back to the original vote. We can sit here and say we didn't like the plans, but the teams did give Jackson County an option to continue to get what economic benefits they do receive from the teams going forward. And they gave you their asking price, the continuation of a sales tax, these specific, maybe not great, renovations on Arrowhead Stadium. And the county said, no, thank you. So it's kind of like I don't want to hear that from people that voted no or didn't vote at all. So if you voted yes, I want to have that conversation with you. If you didn't vote or you voted no, this is what you did it to yourself.
Yeah, this is the bed, right? And it's time to lie in it, so to speak. 913-586-7965. No more stadium conversation. I'm over it. We are sitting here speculating ad nauseum. We'll have more information on Monday, and we can have that conversation then. Logan Weber alongside Nathan Williams. It's After Hours. Let's talk about the college football playoff next here on 96.5 The Fan, your home for Kansas City sports.
You're listening to After Hours, brought to you by Twin Peaks. Eats, drinks, scenic views on your home for Kansas City sports. 96.5 The Fan.
Hey, Missouri, if you haven't heard by now, good news. FanDuel Sportsbook is live in the Show Me State, and they're kicking things off with an offer that's tough to beat. Right now, new customers in Missouri can bet $5 and get $300 in bonus bets, win or lose. So whether it's football, basketball, hockey, or more, you can bet it all on an app that's safe, secure, and super easy to use. So download FanDuel today and head to FanDuel.com/Missouri and join the excitement. Remember, new Missouri customers can bet $5 and get $300 in bonus bets, win or lose. Because Missouri, it's time to play your game of FanDuel. FanDuel is the official sportsbook partner of 96.5 The Fan. 21 and present in Missouri. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. First online real money wager only. $5 first deposit required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets that expire 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com.
I'm McCall with Lee Summit Subaru, announcing Lee Summit Subaru's 0% event. Zero, like in 0% financing. Up to 0% financing on select 2025 Subaru models for 72 months. The 2025 Subaru Share the Love event. Subaru will donate $250 to a charity of your choice to help those in need this holiday.
And locally, you can choose Hillcrest Transitional Housing. Lee Summit Subaru will also donate $50. Subaru of America will donate $250 per vehicle sold or leased during the promotional period, and store contribution may be combined with Subaru of America donation.
Hello, Kansas City. Christopher Youngers here with Cafe Trio. The seasons, they are changing. And if you haven't seen Cafe Trio during the holidays, from Halloween, the Plaza Lights, and Christmas with all of our decorations, well, then you've missed out on one of the most seasonally spectacular dining experiences in town. Offering live music, very spirited holiday decorations, and farm-to-table fresh menus, Cafe Trio is the place to be for the holidays. 45th and Main, CafeTrioKC.com.
Hey, football fans, picture this. You bet on your favorite player to score the first touchdown in the game, but his teammate scores instead. If this happens, BetMGM wants to give you another chance at the end zone. With BetMGM's second chance promotion, you'll get your stake back if your first touchdown scorer scores second instead. That's right. Bet on any pro football player to score the first touchdown of the game. If you're right, you win. If your player scores second, you get your stake back in cash. With BetMGM's second chance offer, you have a chance to keep the fun going after the first player crosses the goal line. Try a first TD score wager with confidence today. BetMGM. Make it legendary. BetMGM and GameSense remind you to play responsibly. See BetMGM.com for terms. 21 plus only. Kansas only. Existing customer offer. Subject to eligibility requirements. Rewards paid back in unrestricted withdrawable funds. Please gamble responsibly. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In partnership with Kansas Crossing Casino and Hotel.
Guys, thanks for helping me carry my Christmas tree.
Zoe, this thing weighs a ton.
Drewski, live with your legs, man.
Santa! Did you get my letter?
He's talking to you, Bridges.
I'm not.
Of course he did, right, Santa?
You know, my elf Drewski here, he handles the nice list.
An elf? I'm 6'3". What everyone wants is iPhone 17. And at T-Mobile, you can get it on them. That center stage front camera is amazing for group selfies. Right, Mrs. Claus?
I'm Mrs. Claus's much younger sister. And at T-Mobile, there's no trade-in needed when you switch, so you can keep your old phone.
Or give it as a gift.
And the best part? You can make the switch to T-Mobile from your phone in just 15 minutes.
Nice. My side of the tree is slipping.
Timber!
The holidays are better at T-Mobile. Switch in just 15 minutes and get iPhone 17 on us with no trade-in needed.
With 24 monthly bill credits for well-qualified customers plus tax and $35 device connection charge. Credits end and balance due if you pay off early or cancel. Finance agreement, 256 gigs, $830. Eligible port in a new line. $100 plus a month plan with auto pay plus taxes and fees required. Check out in 15 minutes or less per line. Visit T-Mobile.com.
Legendary doesn't happen by chance. It happens because it's what BetMGM does. Sign up for BetMGM and check out all the exciting new ways you can make this football season unforgettable. Enjoy our all-new app design and same-game parlay builder, which will take your experience to a new level. Earn BetMGM rewards points from your bets. Take advantage of football promos found nowhere else, like a second chance offer on a first touchdown bet, and keep an eye out for rewards dropping in your account throughout the season. Never settle for ordinary. Sign up today. BetMGM. Make it legendary. BetMGM and GameSense remind you to play responsibly. See BetMGM.com for terms. Must be 21 years of age or older to wager. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Available in the U.S. For New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369. For Arizona, 1-800-NEXT-STEP. For Massachusetts, 1-800-327-5050. For Iowa, 1-800-BETS-OFF. For Puerto Rico, 1-800-981-0023. Subject to eligibility requirements, promotions may vary by market. In partnership with Kansas Crossing Casino and Hotel.
Hey guys, it's Cody Tapp, and come watch the game with me on Sunday, starting at noon at Dave & Buster's at the Legends. And you'll have a chance to win an autographed Jalen Watson jersey, plus Guns N' Roses tickets. Come join me in 96.5 The Fan at Dave & Buster's at the Legends, where every game is a big game.
This is your home for Chiefs football. 96.5 The Fan, KFNC FM and AM HD1 and HD2 Kansas City, an Odyssey Sports Station.
Hey, something else to talk about other than the stadium. Thank goodness. After hours here on 96.5 The Fan, this is your home for Kansas City sports. Logan Weber alongside Nathan Williams here, hanging out till 9 o'clock tonight, getting you set for the weekend. We may talk about the Kansas City Chiefs here a little bit coming up. We'll talk about the NFL, of course, Sweet 16 this week. But college football playoff starts right now. And this might be the best of the 4 first-round games. Not to be, I mean, that shouldn't shock anybody. It's the 8 versus 9 matchup. But Oklahoma, Alabama. You know, I've been hearing all week, oh, Oklahoma's going to win. Oklahoma's going to beat Alabama. I don't think they are.
Man, Oklahoma can't score.
I mean, I'm failing to remember what the exact stat was. That, like, since John Mateer's come back since from the injury, his deep ball accuracy has been atrocious, right? I mean, he was completing 67% of his throws before the injury. Since then, he's completing about 58% of his throws. And especially the deep ball accuracy has taken a massive nosedive. His deep ball completion percentage currently sits at 31% since he came back. So that's past his 20 yards or further downfield, right? Oklahoma's best offense all year has been John Mateer. So, I don't know. I don't think that Oklahoma's front 4 or front 7, for that matter, is as talented as Georgia has at their disposal. So I think that they're going to do a better job, Alabama's offensive line, of giving Ty Simpson time to throw the football.
Well, did that guy? It's Thomas. I'm not the biggest college football fan, but that guy he's a pretty notable draft prospect for the Sooners. I believe he's got about 7 sacks in the year, but he missed a significant amount of the season. Mason Thomas, I believe.
Yes, our Mason Thomas.
He did not play in the first matchup between these two teams. So I think the flip side of that argument is I agree with everything you're saying about favoring Alabama. However, the teams have played already. OU won that game, and they're getting one of their big horses back on their D-line. I still favor Alabama's O-line, yes. But I guess just from that fact and this being like the two biggest programs that are playing this weekend, or maybe most historic, not saying that Oregon is not a massive program themselves, the most historic programs playing this weekend, it definitely is. It has the pageantry, and I think we'll have the competitiveness more so compared to the other 3 matchups that we'll have tomorrow.
Yeah, I mean, you look at the other 3 games, and I mean, Texas A&M and Miami could be a good game. I don't know what to make of Miami, right? I mean, these two teams, obviously, that they themselves haven't met this year, but they both have a common opponent in Notre Dame. And so maybe they can use some of that tape against one another. I'm not entirely certain of that. But I think that one's got a chance to be a pretty good football game.
Okay, and then what time does that common opponent Notre Dame play tomorrow?
Great question.
Oh.
It's a great question.
I
remember. They're stuck in South Bend throwing a hissy fit.
That's right. That's right.
That's exactly where Notre Dame's going to be tomorrow and for the foreseeable future. Meanwhile, their head coach is rumored to be, considered one of the candidates to be the next head coach of the New York Giants. So things are going really, really well at Notre Dame right now. Things are a lot of fun down there, or up there, I'm sure. The other 2 games, Ole Miss Tulane and Oregon James Madison, they're fun stories, but they will end a lot like last year's first-round college football playoff games, just absolute blowouts. I mean, and that's the argument, right, that you keep seeing is like, oh, well, we want the 12 best teams because we want it to be competitive. Tennessee was considered one of the 12 best teams in the country last year. Ohio State boat raced them in the first round of the CFP. I mean, nobody was arguing about Indiana getting into the field last year, and they actually had the closest matchup that there was. Texas beat Clemson by 14, but it didn't even feel that close. Penn State just ran over SMU in that one. So they did the right thing by eliminating the buys, quote unquote, for conference champions and just making the 4 buys the 4 best teams that they deemed in college football for that year, which I believe was the right move, because I don't know how anybody could argue that Indiana, Ohio State, Georgia, and Texas Tech are not the 4 best teams in college football this year.
I think in the structure that we currently have, and I've got a very radical college football playoff take that maybe we can get into here in a second, but in the system that we have, I like this year's format better. I like it's not the automatic bid for conference champions to get the bye. And I also like including the smaller schools, the winners of the Power 5, of the non-Power 4 conferences, the group of 5, because you're right. Tennessee making it in, or Notre Dame making it in, does not guarantee competitiveness. If we want to watch just the Blue Bloods play in a 12-team bracket, we could do that and then just not play the regular season.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, we could have OU, Bama, Georgia, Oregon, Ohio State, Michigan, Notre Dame, Miami, and just, I don't know how many teams are just named off, but just like go ahead and just skip the regular season and put those teams in a bracket. That's not what sports are.
Right.
So I don't have too much sympathy for a team like Notre Dame at all. And then making it in doesn't guarantee that it's not 45-10 like it was the last time Ole Miss played Tulane this season.
Yeah, and I fully believe that the controversy is what the College Football Playoff Committee wants. It's what Disney and ESPN want. It's what the Big Ten and the Big 12 and the SEC and the ACC and Notre Dame, that's what they want. They want the controversy. They want the talking heads like us speaking about it relentlessly, because what does it lead to, right? Beeping and moaning about the BCS format for years and years and years led to the 4-team college football playoff. Beeping and moaning about the 4-team playoff led us to the 12-team playoff. Now we're beeping and moaning about 12 teams just so that the CFP committee can push it to 16 games and throw more tens of millions of dollars into the pockets. And then, 16 still isn't quite getting it done. Let's take it to 24. And then, that's not good enough. Well, I guess we'll just move it to 32, and pretty soon college football is going to have a 20-game season.
Yeah, we act like in college basketball there aren't non-competitive games in March Madness. The good thing about March Madness is like when you get that feeling about an underdog, right? When the second half starts and they're still sinking shots, you know it's going down to the wire. Not every game has that magic, not even close. Not every game is like that. So this expansion doesn't make for a better product necessarily. And I think we were all misguided in thinking that when we were clamoring for this expansion. You're right about, well, actually, by the way, I preferred when we were younger and less teams got in and bowl games mattered more.
Yeah.
But at that time, there was less controversy like you talked about. We cared about the bubble of the playoff like we do now, but you knew that if you were team number 5 in the Big Ten and team number 3 in the Big 12, you were going to meet up in the Sun Bowl or whatever. Like the bowl schedule was pretty formulaic in that way. And now people are talking about this in addition to the extra playoff games and the revenue money on television. So I understand why the sport went this way, but I don't like it. I think we've gone too far and they're going to continue going.
Yeah. I mean, when we had the BCS, it was an argument to be made for there might have been 4 teams, maybe 5, if you were really pushing it, that had a legitimate case, right, of whether or not they should be included in the BCS National Championship game or whether or not they should be considered for a national championship opportunity, yada, yada, yada. Well, now it's the 12-team playoff, and there's 25 teams that are complaining. 20 at the fewest, right? And it just becomes like, I feel like we are slowly, and maybe we're already there, we've taken this a bridge too far.
We have. There's always going to be a debate on the bubble. There was in the BCS between 2 and 3. Now in the BCS, things like the Rose Bowl and the Fiesta Bowl and the Orange Bowl, getting to a BCS Bowl, like those things really, really mattered.
Yeah,
and now,
the New Year's 6, right?
Yeah, now you can't hang a banner saying I'm the Rose Bowl champion because what that means is, well, now I've got a semifinal to play next week or whatever stage of the bracket that comes in. Teams 4 and 5 had a debate the first 10 years of the college football playoff. Now teams 12 and 13 have a debate. So, like, as we continue to pacify these teams, the debate is just going to keep getting passed down to worse and worse teams. The only difference is now we got 3 lost teams fighting about it. We used to have 1 lost teams fighting about it. How far are we going to go? I'm sure you've had I haven't been on with you since this Notre Dame thing happened. I just think it's the biggest crock. I think it's the biggest sob story between them not being in a conference, between them not winning against Miami head-to-head, just all these different reasons. I think it's just a total weak showing from the Notre Dame.
Yeah, I have been keeping myself alive and hydrated with the tears of Fighting Irish fans.
Absolutely.
That's been my prerogative. I was doing this show that Sunday morning. I think that was before the Texans game,
That's
I want
right.
to say. It was when they announced the field. And when I saw, doing play-by-play of the committee selections live and saw Miami's name come up as the 10 seed, I almost leapt out of my chair with excitement because I knew that meant Notre Dame was not going to get in. You know, with Miami getting, if Notre Dame had gotten the 10, then I could have seen a scenario where Miami got the 11 and then you give the 12 to Tulane. Mm-hmm. But with it being Miami at 10, I'm like, okay, there's no way that they're putting Notre Dame maybe even behind Miami in that sense, even though they did lose the head-to-head. I just saw a scenario where they just didn't get in, and frankly, I found it to be extremely exciting. I did. Sorry. I'm not going to feel bad. Like, the minute that this thing started to come down to, like, the last couple weeks of the regular season, and there were people in the text line, and there were people on social media that in conversations about Notre Dame's their college football playoff case, right, their resume, they weren't hyping up their wins. They were hyping up their losses. Like, hey, well, we only lost to Miami by, you know, and we barely lost to Texas A&M. And it's like the fact that you're trying to upsell your losses and downplay your wins tells me everything I need to know. Okay? I'm sorry. Like, yeah, you beat Pitt on College game day. sorry for you that Pitt absolutely collapsed at the end of the year. You had a good win against USC. You beat a Navy team that at the time was undefeated, right? But outside of, you beat Syracuse by 60, it's Syracuse, you know? Yeah, they were having a bad year. Their coach was on the verge of getting fired. There was a ton of news coming out about that. I just wasn't, I'm sorry. I wasn't impressed. I wasn't. And you're not in a conference. You have no affiliation. Nobody's advocating for you.
Yeah, but you're upset. The AD's upset that the ACC is taking shots at Notre Dame. We want the benefits of playing in the ACC, but we don't want the drawbacks.
Right.
It just makes it's very, very weak. And the biggest thing to me is these guys are no longer the amateur athletes we used to say that they were. They're now getting paid a lot more money than they used to. But at its core, it is 18, 19, 20-year-old men. And it's not the right thing to tell them when they lose that it's somebody else's fault. The message to those kids and other college athletes should be, beat Miami if you want to get in. You lost to them, and so you're not in. It's that simple.
And in my view, they weren't a national title contender either. Yeah, I know Jeremiah Love was great and this and that and the other thing, but I didn't see them as a national title contender. And I think that's another problem with the 12-team playoff is I see 5, maybe 6 teams that I believe are capable of winning a national championship in this year's 12-team format. That's just sort of the nature of the beast. And last year, I only saw 3 or 4. 913-586-7965 is our number. We may continue to kind of pop back in and talk about the college football playoff, this first-round game between OU and Alabama already underway. But let's talk about the Royals a little bit because another move made today. Was it for a corner outfielder? No. But it was a move that I believe could be very, very beneficial for the Royals now and moving forward. Logan Weber, Nathan Williams here with you guys on After Hours, 96.5, The Fan.
You're listening to After Hours, brought to you by Twin Peaks. Eats, drinks, scenic views on your home for Kansas City sports. 96.5, The Fan.
Have you been diagnosed with head or neck cancer? At Kansas City Proton Institute, we're delivering the future of cancer care with state-of-the-art proton therapy right here in KC. Proton therapy means increased precision, reducing side effects like dry mouth, difficulty swallowing, and the loss of taste as compared to conventional radiation. If you've been diagnosed, don't wait. Get your second opinion today and see KC's largest, most experienced proton therapy team. Visit kcpi.com. Kansas City Proton Institute, where you see the best in KC.
You've got a big day, so you use Unstoppable Scent Boosters to give your laundry non-stop freshness. So no matter how long the day goes, you
can't stop this power, this walk, this pose, this strut, this look, this talk.
Your clothes will be so fresh you can confidently strut into that end of the day meeting like a
boss, 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 bosses. Let's talk business in my office.
Add new Unstoppables beads to your wash for 24-hour non-stop freshness so you can smell unstoppable.
My ride smells just right, just right, just right, just right.
Y'all gotta try that Febreze car.
Just right, just right, just right. Yeah. La 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 la. With up to 40 days of consistency, all over Febreze car clips right on your vent. You know my car's my happy place. Keep that smile on my face when it smells just right, just right, just right. Yeah. Breathe happy Febreze. La 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 la.
Newton James is Kansas City's newest classic menswear boutique and accessory store. They redefine what menswear should be with the best designers from the US, the UK, and Japan. Their new seasonal collection just dropped, but the most popular colors and modern cuts always go first. So check them out today. Whether it's a suit for a holiday party, a winter wedding, or a sharp everyday fit, get the best look while your size is still in stock. At Newton James, they believe someone has to be the best dressed man in the room. It might as well be you. Check them out on Instagram or newtonjames.com.
Pain has a way of stealing the moments that matter most, especially during the holidays. It's not just your knees, back, or shoulder. It's time away from your family and friends. But in 2026, all that could change when your body remembers how to heal. It just needs a little help finding the way back. At QC Kinetics right here in Kansas City, we believe relief doesn't have to come from surgery or pain pills. We use your body's own natural healing abilities to repair and restore what's been lost, helping you move, live, and feel like yourself again. It's your body's comeback story, powered by the very cells that built you in the first place. No surgery, no pain pills, no long recovery. Just your body remembering how to feel alive again. QC Kinetics delivers long-term relief, finally. So schedule your free consultation today and use your HSA or FSA before the year ends. Call 816-412-6299. That's 816-412-6299. Off 435 in State Line and in Gladstone, it's QC Kinetics.
I'm McCall with Lee Summit Subaru, announcing Lee Summit Subaru's 0% event. Zero, like in 0% financing. Up to 0% financing on select 2025 Subaru models for 72 months. The 2025 Subaru Share the Love event. Subaru will donate $250 to a charity of your choice to help those in need this holiday.
And locally, you can choose Hillcrest Transitional Housing. Lee Summit Subaru will also donate $50. Subaru of America will donate $250 per vehicle sold or leased during the promotional period, and store contribution may be combined with Subaru of America donation.
Hello, Kansas City. Christopher Youngers here with Cafe Trio. The seasons, they are changing. And if you haven't seen Cafe Trio during the holidays, from Halloween, the Plaza Lights, and Christmas with all of our decorations, well, then you've missed out on one of the most seasonally spectacular dining experiences in town. Offering live music, very spirited holiday decorations, and farm-to-table fresh menus, Cafe Trio is the place to be for the holidays. 45th and Main, CafeTrioKC.com.
Remember when the Chiefs and Titans playing meant history was about to happen?
Inside the 10, he dives for the end zone. Touchdown, Kansas City. A remarkable acrobatic scramble on a 27-yard run. Maybe the best play yet of Patrick Mahomes' incredible young career.
Pre-game starts at 9, kickoff at noon. All right here on your home for Chiefs football. 96.5, The Fan.
Somebody in the text line just came to me with a proposition, Nathan. This person says, Logan, I used a lot of bonus bet money on the Royals to make the playoffs. Will you ride it with me? I'll put some money on the Royals to make the playoffs. Unfortunately, my bonus bet money that I got, I used it in completely the wrong ways. Absolutely had my faith in the Kansas City Chiefs still. I had my $300 bonus bet on Rashee Rice anytime touchdown. Whiff. Nature of the beast, man. That's how it goes. But I am willing to put down some change on the Royals to make the playoffs because I like what they're doing right now. I really do
as well.
So the big news for the Royals today was they made a deal for a left-handed pitcher, one that, interestingly enough, is a former member of the Kansas City Royals, right? Royals trading with the Philadelphia Phillies for Matt Strahm. The Philadelphia got Jonathan Bolin back in exchange. Strahm, 34 years old. He went to Neosho County Community College in Chanute, Kansas, right? He got drafted by the Royals in 2012, spent the first 2 years of his big league career in Kansas City. He's been with the Phillies the last 3 years, and the numbers are really, really impressive for Matt Strahm over the last 3 seasons. And maybe extending even a little bit beyond that, right? I mean, his 3 years in Philadelphia, he, in 188 appearances across 212 and 2/3 innings, this is all regular season, had a 2.71 ERA, 257 strikeouts, and a whip of .995. His WAR over the last 3 years in Philly is a 6.6. He's the only relief pitcher in baseball to have 3 consecutive seasons of 2 WAR or better in the last 3 years. That's how good he's been. I mean, obviously, 2024, he was the best he's been in so far in his career. That 1.87 ERA across 66 appearances. But we've talked a lot about this Royals team needing left-handed relief pitching, right? And it looks like they have acquired what might have been the best thing they could have acquired in terms of a left-handed reliever in Matt Strahm. And it just happens to be kind of interesting that he's a guy that the Royals acquired, in 2012. They drafted him and he goes elsewhere. He had a couple of really good years with the Padres, I want to say. First year with San Diego, a 2.05 ERA. He had a 2.61 ERA in 2020. He's a career 3.36 ERA player. And I think this is a tremendous acquisition for the Kansas City Royals to continue to shore up that bullpen, along with the deal that they made a couple of weeks ago. They bring in the outfield bat, a guy who was fourth in the NL Rookie of the Year voting, along with a relief pitcher who had a sub 3.4 ERA. Now you've got Strahm. It's a really strong starting pitching rotation. What looks to be on paper like a really, really strong bullpen when you combine Strahm along with Estevez and Ursig, the guy they just brought over from Milwaukee, Lynch. I think that this is a playoff team right now. I believe that. I think this is a team that is not only a playoff team, this is a team that can win the AL Central. I don't know if that should be the expectation. If this Royals team can go find one more outfield bat, especially if that's an everyday outfield bat, even if it's not a Jarren Duran, if it is a Jarren Duran and you don't give up the farm for it necessarily, I think the expectation should be that the Royals win the AL Central and become a true contender in the American League.
If J.J. Picollo wasn't the complete antithesis of the prior regime for the Royals, he is now trying to undo that trade that brought Brandon Maurer to the Royals in 2017. You remember Strahm exited in that trade with Esteury Ruiz, who didn't necessarily pan out to the extent that some thought he would, but has had more than a cup of coffee in the big leagues as well. Look, I'm all the way fired up about this Royals team. I'm not sure if I'm ready to say they're winning the division yet. I think so much of their success still relies on the development of Kaggs and Jensen. But I'm not in the same spot that you are about needing a bat. If they do, I'll be saying the words World Series. If they go acquire an everyday center fielder, left fielder, heck, even a second baseman, which I don't think is likely, I'll be saying the words like, this team's winning the pennant. This team's going to the World Series. That'd be my prediction. But the flaws in last year's team, they've been fixed. Like, we got on here and we didn't say the Royals need another all-star that hits 30 home runs and knocks in 100. They've got 3 or 4 of those guys already. And no one else besides the Dodgers has a lineup that's 8 deep of guys that are doing that. No, what the Royals need is for that lineup to not fall off of a cliff after Maikel Garcia and Salvador Perez. That's what they need. So it's why I like the moves like Lane Thomas, who is a bit of a reclamation project, but he hits the ball, especially against lefties, and Isaac Collins, who is a switch hitter, can play every day, can do so with an OPS that's above league average in left field. They've now insulated that falling off of a cliff. Instead of it being Rave and Tolbert and Lofton, well, it's now going to be Isaac Collins, Jack Caglione, and Lane Thomas. That's just miles different. So I'm not saying this current lineup is good enough to go win the World Series, but if you get any sort of development out of Kaggs and Jensen, and then if you go out, which I hope they do, and trade from this pitching surplus to add a starting center fielder or a starting left fielder, I think the sky could be the limit in the American League for this team.
Again, I keep going back and forth because I understand the sentiment from some people about the center field position. In terms of that, and from your standpoint, Nathan, if you are acquiring a center fielder, are you saying in terms of replacing Kyle Isbell, or
Yes.
are you saying, okay?
Yes, Kyle Isbell is a 4th outfielder on a good baseball team. Yes.
Interesting.
I think the plan, and I'm not in the front office, but just from reading the tea leaves, my plan for the start of this season would be a platoon with Thomas and Kaggs in right field. And should Kaggs take that next step throughout this season, and this team is having success, it would be a platoon of Thomas and Isbell in center field. That's the way I would approach this with this current roster. I would rather have Thomas as a platoon, Isbell as your backup defensive replacement type outfielder, with another name in center field or left field, and Isaac Collins moving around accordingly, whether that's a Jarren Duran or whoever. Now, I'm with you and Jordan. I absolutely do not want this team to trade Cole Ragans for Jarren Duran, and all the reporting indicates they're not even considering doing that themselves. Most of all, I'd like them to either look around and say, hey, we should actually spend and go get a free agent, a Bader, or even, living in maybe one of the upper echelons of free agents as they continue to sit out there, or pull from the minor leagues, right? Use your prospects and not take away from this plethora of starting pitching. Use that as an asset going into this season. Look, I can't sit here and say I want them to trade Chris Bubich and then be upset when he's not getting the bites. Like that's not how player evaluation works. It's not Madden. It's not MLB The Show. But I really would like a smaller, maybe someone on the Bergert, Bubich end of the rotation instead of a Cole Ragans. I also don't think you need that big of a fish, one that Cole Ragans could catch. If you wanted to trade him, he could go get you a Ketel Marte as part of it, not one for one, but as part of a package.
Right.
And I don't think this team needs that. Jarren Duran is not in the Ketel Marte stratosphere. Ketel Marte has been in the top 5 in MVP voting multiple times. So, look, if it's a Noah Cameron, if it's a Bergert plus a prospect, I don't know what gets Jarren Duran. But, man, like I said before, if they add a bat of that caliber, and then a guy like Isbell as a defensive replacement, it just continues to shove that mediocrity down in the organization, and I become that much more excited for next season.
I mean, I'm looking at a possible scenario of, and I get some of the hesitancy with Kyle Isbell, right? He's, first and foremost, he's not a guy that's going to hit home runs. He's not a guy that drives in runs. He doesn't generate a ton of walks by any means, but he did hit 255 last year.
Yeah.
So is there a scenario that exists where the Royals go get a center fielder and maybe you move Kyle Isbell to left field, right? He sort of takes on an Alex Gordon-like approach because he is an excellent glove. He's got decent speed, although he doesn't seem to use it all that often on the base paths for some reason. And when he does, he messes it up egregiously somehow. Is that a scenario that potentially exists? I don't know. I think that this team, to me, it feels like this team is really, really close, right? Like they're good enough to make the postseason, but I still think that they're not quite to the level of contending, if that makes any sense, especially with the Yankees going to be presumably much healthier this next year. They're going to get Garrett Cole back. They're going to get Cortez. All these guys will be back a little bit healthier. The Blue Jays are obviously not shy about them being in a buy now, win now sort of a mentality. The Royals are doing a lot more. And regardless of whether they go get somebody else or not, I think a great deal of credit needs to go towards JJ Picollo and this Royals front office, because you are exactly right. They are really proving to us in real time that they are not what this previous regime was. When they have marquee players, they are more than willing. They are ready and able to keep those guys around for the long term, right? They could have just picked up this last year on Salvi's option. What do? No, we're going to restructure. We're going to give you a 2-year deal to make sure, regardless of what happens, you have the best opportunity to retire a lifetime Kansas City Royal. You gave Bobby a massive deal before he'd even reached pre-arbitration, or arbitration in his career. You extended Ragans. You gave Lugo and Waka the extensions that they needed. You gave Michael Garcia an extension to avoid arbitration. What they do with Vinny Pasquantino in the next few months is going to be very, very interesting to watch. But they are doing things that the previous organization and previous regime never, ever did. And I think they are putting this team in a position to be a playoff contender. I just think that they're maybe one piece away from becoming a potential pennant-winning contender. 913-586-7965 is our number. Much more coming up, including NFL Week 16 conversation, maybe a little college basketball that we'll see over the weekend, and even the other 3 college football playoff games that'll take place tomorrow, starting with that Miami A&M game at 11 a.m. Logan Weber alongside Nathan Williams. After Hours, 96.5, The Fan.
You're listening to After Hours, brought to you by Twin Peaks. Eats, drinks, scenic views on your home for Kansas City sports. 96.5, The Fan.
Caesars Sportsbook is the only sportsbook app with Caesars rewards. Bet on gridiron action and earn perks on every game, like hotel stays, bonus bets, game tickets, and more. Download the app using promo code Radio250BM and get your first bet matched as a bonus bet up to $250, whether you win or lose. Must be 21 plus and physically present in Missouri. Open to new users only. Minimum odds, -500. Awarded as non-withdrawable bonus bets that expire 14 days after receipt. Bonus bet amount not returned for winning bets. Void where prohibited. See Caesars.com/promos for full terms. Must be 21 or older to gamble. Know when to stop before you start. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Hey, it's Rex here with RexBuysKC.com, your local KC home buyer. If you own a property in the Kansas City or surrounding area and want to sell it fast and at a fair price, write this number down, 816-330-6000. I'm a private real estate investor, not some hedge fund or large national chain. My family and I live right here in KC. I can pay cash and close on your timeline, even in as little as 3 days. Here at RexBuysKC.com, we're improving Kansas City one house at a time. I buy inherited houses, vacant houses, foreclosure houses, behind in payment houses, my tenant won't pay the rent houses, and properties that need complete rehabs. Do you own a house that's trashed and needs thousands of dollars in repairs? Great. If you own a house and want to sell it fast, call me at this number, 816-330-6000. That's 816-330-6000. Or go to RexBuysKC.com. That's RexBuysKC.com. And I look forward to working with you.
FanDuel Friday is turning it up with an NBA happy hour every Friday from 6 to 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. FanDuel is dropping limited time specials to get you in the zone. Boost, bonus, surprises, all designed to give you that Friday energy. This isn't just another promo. It's your weekly pregame NBA happy hour every Friday, 6 to 7:30 Eastern. Only on FanDuel, an official sportsbook partner of the NBA. So visit FanDuel.com/KFNZ. Use my promo code to grab your reward before the clock expires. Celebrate the beginning of the NBA season in style. FanDuel is the official sportsbook of the NBA and also 96.5 The Fan. 21 and present in Kansas. Often required. Rewards are non-withdrawable. Restrictions apply, including bonus and token expirations, league requirements, and max wager amount. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. FanDuel is offering online sports wagering in Kansas under agreement. Kansas Star Casino, LLC. Gambling problem. Get out with your best bet. Call 1-800-522-4700. Visit kansasgamblinghelp.com.
Hi, I'm John Ray, your friend and jeweler at Shane Company. Getting engaged? So friends, listen up. Shane Company engagement rings are protected with our all-inclusive free lifetime warranty. We stand behind the same quality we've offered since 1929. Our rings are crafted to last. It's why our warranty is the only one that protects your center stone. We also cover repairs, resizings, cleanings, and so much more. That's money you keep for you and your family. Because a friend always has your back. Shane Company, your friend and jeweler.
Makita's built for the pros who show up early, who don't do shortcuts, only precise cuts. With tools built to last, job after job, year after year. Performance that pays off, because when the job calls for the best, you answer. And when you need the best, you call on Makita. Built to be the best. Available at the Home Depot.
See website for details. Bills Happen is not a lender and does not make credit decisions. Hey, bills happen! So when you need extra cash fast, go to BillsHappen.com. Have you been turned down? Are your credit cards maxed out? Do you have bad credit? Go to BillsHappen.com. You could find a lender and get up to $5,000 cash as early as tomorrow. BillsHappen.com is safe, secure, and all online. Just remember, when you need cash, go to BillsHappen.com. BillsHappen.com for the cash you need now. BillsHappen.com.
The Sheet Metal Workers Local Number 2 Enrichment Grant is providing one local high school $20,000 to use on upgrades and equipment. Open to all area schools and no strings attached. Take a minute to tell us what your high school needs at helpmymokenschool.com, and we'll announce the winner January 4th on the Chiefs Radio Network.
After Hours, 96.5 The Fan. Logan Weber, Nathan Williams here with you till 9 o'clock tonight. Someone in the text line says, I know you guys talked about it, but how do you guys feel about tonight's game and the college football playoff games, or college football games, I guess you could say, tomorrow? Well, I sort of thought that this game between Alabama and Oklahoma sort of leaned in Alabama's favor, but that has not been the case so far. John Mateer is certainly not playing well, but as was the case in the SEC championship game, so far in this one, Ty Simpson is running for his life again. That's a far cry from what we're accustomed to for Alabama football. And it sort of leads me into this conversation, and I'm going to completely throw him under the bus here because this is where I heard it from first, and then I found other information on it later. My younger brother was telling me that there are stories and things circulating about the possibility of Alabama firing Kalen DeBoer if he loses this game tonight. What do you make of that?
I think it's still hilarious to see Nick Saban on these pregame show sets and know that he's not coaching the Crimson Tide. I still, in my head, expect to see him on the sideline. That's my first thought, is Kalen DeBoer just got there in my head. I didn't think that he was going to immediately have this program at the same heights. I think really the last couple of years of Saban's tenure, they weren't the dominant force they once were. They had been overtaken by Georgia and the SEC. And, Nick Saban will attribute that to NIL. It's why he left the game ultimately. So I don't think anyone thought Alabama would be the powerhouse they once were. But I do understand from a booster or fan perspective, now it's been a number of years. Really since the pandemic, they have not been the force that we're used to them being for the previous 10, 12 years in the college football landscape. And I think, unfortunately, when you're at a program like this, your seat starts to get warm if you lose 2 or 3 games a season, if you're not going far in the college football playoffs. It's just sort of the nature of the beast. So I think it's a little, like I said, for me, fresh. I feel like he just started his tenure there, but I'm also, I guess, wouldn't be too shocked to hear those murmurs, although I haven't heard that until you just said that.
Yeah, I can't say I had either. After he said that, I went and did some digging around, and there's some of that, sort of flying around social media and whatever else, and these rumors that, Lane Kiffin, if DeBoer is fired at Alabama, may consider actually leaving before he even officially takes the job at LSU and going to Alabama, which just seems a bit ridiculous. But hey, he wouldn't be the first guy to do it. I remember watching Bobby Petrino leave Missouri State and take the offensive coordinator job at UNLV, and not even a month later, leaving UNLV to take the offensive coordinator job at Arkansas, where he later, since he became the interim head coach, and now obviously he's probably looking for another job. But it feels very early to be doing something like that. I don't know. Do I think that Kalen DeBoer is up to snuff right now for Alabama fans? No. But you haven't even given the guy 2 full years at this point, and it feels a little bit early to be making a decision like that. He's got you in the college football playoff here in year 2. I know that that's not necessarily where your expectations lie if you're an Alabama fan, but you got to an SEC championship game. I don't know. It feels a little early to be pulling the trigger on something like that.
It does. I've got to agree with you there. It does feel premature. And like I said, I hadn't even seen it until your source, your family, just filled you in on that here recently. So, but at the same time, like I said before, I would not be surprised based on the level of play that they've come to expect down there, that after 2 seasons, the seat gets really warm really quick. That wouldn't shock me.
Yeah, right now, the buyout for Kalen DeBoer would be somewhere in the vein, depending on when they fire him, right? If Alabama was to as of now, right, so it's after December 1st, his buyout right now is $60.8 million. That's a lot of money to fire somebody who took you to the college football playoff and took you to an SEC championship game. He was in year 2. Lest we forget, this is the same guy that took Washington and Michael Penix to the college football playoff. Feels pretty impressive, I would say. 913-586-7965 is our number. We may discuss the other 3 CFP games coming up next. Logan Weber, Nathan Williams, After Hours, 96.5 The Fan.
You're listening to After Hours, brought to you by Twin Peaks. Eats, drinks, scenic views on your home for Kansas City sports. 96.5 The Fan.
Hey folks, I've got a couple of important questions for you. Do you know how much money you need to retire? Do you have a plan in place for your loved ones? If your answer is no, it's time to get your financial planning on track with UMB Private Wealth. It's never too late to start. Plus, their team supports you at every step of the planning process. Go to umb.com/privatewealth to schedule your appointment. That's umb.com/privatewealth. Why not start today?
I'm worth more.
I'm worth more.
I'm worth a lot more. And I completely agree. That's why I'll pay more for your car at GiveMeTheVin.com. That's the name of our new campaign. I'm worth more. You are worth more, and your car's worth more, and that's why I will pay more. And remember, if I don't beat the price on a CarMax or a Carvana deal, I'll pay you $100 at GiveMeTheVin.com.
Sell us your car. GiveMeTheVin.com. So easy you can do it in your underwear.
Hey, this is Frank from Woodyard Barbecue, and we have $20 slabs of baby backs and $2 beers for the rest of 2025. With family gatherings happening, Woodyard can cater any size event. We also have firewood, oak for the fireplace, pinyon for the fire pit, and hickory pecan and cherry for the smoker. We sell it all by the log or by the bag. We've been in business for over 100 years and are proud to be part of Kansas City barbecue history. Find us at 3001 Merriam Lane in KCK or online at woodyardbbq.com. Kansas City has the best fans and the best barbecue. Eat it, smoke it, live it, Woodyard Barbecue.
Save time when you shop online with Hy-Vee. Hy-Vee makes it easy to order groceries online through our app or Hy-Vee.com. Pickup is always free. And if you have a Perks Plus membership, you get free delivery and free express pickup. Shop online with Hy-Vee and you can create and save grocery lists, shop the sales, and get fuel savers. Talk about convenience. Order groceries online today. Check out Hy-Vee.com or download the Hy-Vee app.
Hey, football fans, picture this. You bet on your favorite player to score the first touchdown in the game, but his teammate scores instead. If this happens, BetMGM wants to give you another chance at the end zone. With BetMGM's second chance promotion, you'll get your stake back if your first touchdown scorer scores second instead. That's right. Bet on any pro football player to score the first touchdown of the game. If you're right, you win. If your player scores second, you get your stake back in cash. With BetMGM's second chance offer, you have a chance to keep the fun going after the first player crosses the goal line. Try a first TD score wager with confidence today. BetMGM. Make it legendary. BetMGM and GameSense remind you to play responsibly. See BetMGM.com for terms. 21 plus only. Kansas only. Existing customer offer. Subject to eligibility requirements. Rewards paid back in unrestricted withdrawable funds. Please gamble responsibly. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In partnership with Kansas Crossing Casino and Hotel.
This is the story of the one. As an HVAC technician, he and his digital multimeter are in high demand. So when a noisy office HVAC turns out to be a failing blower motor, he doesn't break a sweat. With Grainger's easy-to-use website and product information, he selects the product he needs to keep everything humming right along. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
That's the sound of James adding long-lasting Gain scent boosters to his laundry this morning. Several hours later, James sniffs the irresistible scent of Gain on his shirt. Gain. Several hours later, James has even caught the attention of his mother-in-law, and she never gives him attention.
Ooh, you smell amazing, James.
Oh, thanks, Mom. I love you too.
I never said that.
Add Gain scent boosters to your laundry. Add joy to your day.
Hey guys, it's Cody Tappan. Come watch the game with me on Sunday, starting at noon at Dave & Buster's at the Legends. And you'll have a chance to win an autographed Jalen Watson jersey, plus Guns N' Roses tickets. Come join me in 96.5 The Fan at Dave & Buster's at the Legends, where every game is a big game.
You're listening to 96.5 The Fan from the DM Injury Law Studios. Mike's got this.
things aren't off to a hot start if you're a Crimson Tide fan. That's for certain. Oklahoma leads right now 10-0. First quarter just ended, so Alabama's got an opportunity here to begin the second quarter. They get the football to try to turn things around in their favor.
Alabama gained 5 yards in the first quarter on offense.
That's
5 yards.
Awful.
Excuse me, 12 yards. They did run a play before the break. 12 yards.
Oh, wow. Good for them. 12 total yards. Yikes. Meanwhile, Oklahoma had, 130 roughly?
Something like that. And would have been in the red zone on this last drive if not for a really dumb, unsportsmanlike penalty. Conduct penalty that they sustained. It was the right call, but it was done by the OU player. So could very easily be 14-0 at this point in time.
Oklahoma might have just got away with a hold there on that third down. I'm going to be completely honest.
They certainly did. But look, I mean, this Oklahoma defense is for real. I mean, when we talked about their offensive struggles, they've won 10 football games despite an inconsistent quarterback. Their defense is legit. Missouri was going through significant quarterback injury problems by the time those two teams ran into each other, but that was the most I've watched OU all season. I think Mizzou didn't even score a touchdown that day. They scored 6 points, I believe.
Yeah.
So, look, and our Mason Thomas, like we mentioned earlier, is back and healthy. So OU is going to keep this game sloppy and messy and competitive. Here's that unsportsmanlike penalty that happened on the last drive. But, yeah, I mean, them being in this game doesn't surprise me, but I would have picked Alabama going into it, so I'm a little surprised by the shaky start.
Yeah, and I mean, looking at things across the other 3 games as they stand right now, and you talk about Oklahoma's defense, give a ton of credit to Brett Venables. I mean, that's a huge part of why Oklahoma brought him over. He was, of course, Dabo Swinney's DC over at Clemson. It was a big part of why their defense was so dominant for quite a long time. And what he's been able to do to turn around that Sooners defense that has long been a sore spot for Oklahoma is really, really exceptional. Looking at the other 3 games, though, I got somebody in the text line says, Logan, James Madison will pull off the greatest upset in college football history. Boy, I'd be happy with them just covering, to be honest with you. I do not have the level of confidence that you seem to have right now.
Look, I'm going to be very honest. Family Christmas is tomorrow. The guys are just hoping we can get Bears and Packers thrown on late in the evening. If James Madison is competitive with Oregon, Logan, please text me. Please let me know that's going on. I mean, it's going to be like 55-13 when everything's said and done. I'm not very confident in JMU. That would truly be the greatest upset. I mean, at least on this scale. It's not like an App State, Michigan type thing, but like that would be crazy.
Yeah. I mean, it would be put in those conversations, right? Appalachian State over Michigan was of that magnitude because like App State was an FCS school and Michigan was not only considered, it's Michigan first and foremost. They're playing in the Big House, which is one of the most raucous environments in college football. That Michigan team came into the year as a national title contender.
Yeah.
And it is more or less dismantled in week 1 of the season. This would be of a different magnitude, I believe, with a team like Oregon. JMU, after all the hoopla about, they shouldn't even be in the field, it's about the 12 best teams, and JMU were to somehow come out and win this football game tomorrow and would shut up, all the folks who are denigrating them being selected, the Joel Klatts of the world, and I'm not disparaging Joel Klatt. I like him actually quite a bit. I think he's one of my favorite guys to listen to, but I believe he's wrong when it's, we all just want to see the 12 best teams. No, I want to see the 12 most deserving teams. There's a distinct difference in those 2 scenarios.
So I think that's a good way to compare those 2 upsets. App State, Michigan has the shock factor. It blows you away in that category. There's no other college football game that I've ever watched that had that same shock factor for me in terms of result. But yeah, in terms of magnitude, it wouldn't even be close if that happened tomorrow. So for its own reasons, that would be an absolutely historic moment. I mean, heck, it wouldn't be to the same scale, but I mean, Ole Miss beat the you-know-what out of Tulane earlier this year. And I know they don't have their head coach. I get all those things. That would also be a seismic upset.
Yeah, and it would also give the Notre Dame fans even less of a leg to stand on if one of those teams were to register an upset tomorrow.
I don't believe that this is going to happen. I really wish Miami would win the whole damn thing just for the Notre Dame aspect, so we could clown on Notre Dame. I mean, I think it's going to be one of the Big Ten teams or Georgia when everything's said and done. I don't think that's a hot take, but man, just from that aspect, it'd be cool if Miami won this thing.
100%. 913-586-7965 is our number. More coming up, including a breakdown of the Week 16 slate of NFL games and the latest on the Kansas City Chiefs. News flash for you really quickly. It's not great. After Hours, Logan Weber, Nathan Williams, 96.5, The Fan.
You're listening to After Hours, brought to you by Twin Peaks. Eats, drinks, scenic views on your home for Kansas City sports. 96.5, The Fan.
Oh, no.
Ah, that's the sound of someone who's misplaced
my debit card.
Their debit card.
Where'd I leave that thing?
Not at the gas pump, or the checkout counter, or the roof of your car. Now, if he has the Chase mobile app, he can use Card Lock.
Wait, I could just lock my card.
Yep, just a few tippy taps on his phone, and that sound? That's peace of mind from Chase.
Chase mobile app is available for select mobile devices. Message and data rates may apply. JP Morgan Chase Bank N.A., member FDIC.
I woke up this morning feeling like I was coming down with something. Cough, congestion, headache. My first thought was, nope, this can't happen. I have big plans this weekend. So I took Mucinex Kickstart. It provides all-in-one and done relief with a morning jolt of instant cooling sensation. Thanks to Mucinex Kickstart, I didn't even need to cancel my weekend plans. If you start feeling cough and congestion coming on, take Mucinex Kickstart for relief with a kick. At your favorite retailer. Use as directed.
I know that hiring can be challenging. You sort through tons of resumes and you get too many so-so applicants. You're just waiting for someone to match your role perfectly. Well, now, there's a place where you can meet them fast. ZipRecruiter.
Need to hire right away. Start your search for strong candidates. The right fit awaits. Build your team. Build it sooner. Meet your match on ZipRecruiter.
Just head to ZipRecruiter.com/free right now to try it for free. And you're on your way to meeting your match. 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. So try it now. Go to ZipRecruiter.com/free. Once again, that's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Meet your match on ZipRecruiter. Try it free.
Men, it's the holidays, a time of love and joy. But if you suffer from erectile dysfunction, the season can be tough on you. This is Jeff for Heartland Men's Health. And if you and your partner are experiencing struggles because of ED, change it up this year. Give the best gift you can give to the one you love by treating your ED and restoring your relationship. At Heartland Men's Health, we're experts at treating ED. And as a Prometic restorative health practice, we've literally seen countless thousands of relationships renewed across the nation. Plus, with treatments having success rates well over 90%, coupled with many treatment options, we can likely find the right one for you. You may even find you're performing like you haven't in years. So call us and give your partner the best gift you can give this season, a renewed, restored relationship. Your first visit is only $99 and includes blood work, a medical consult, and if medically advised, a test dose. And if that test dose doesn't work in our office, your visit is free. Call 844-447-6600 or go to heartlandmenshealth.com. We have 3 offices, Overland Park, Independence, and North Kansas City.
Hi, this is Toby Tobin along with Jason Goodenkoff from Lewisburg Ford, Lewisburg, Kansas. Hi, Jason.
Hello, Toby.
Great time of the year.
It is that time of year, Toby. It's the year-end sales event. Ford always puts their best foot forward, and Lewisburg Ford is always $50 over invoice. We've got the 000 promotion going on right now, Toby. That means we've got 0% financing for 66 months with 0 down payment and no payment for 90 days on 25 F-150s, 25 Explorers, 25 Escapes, 25 Mach-E, 25 Lightning, and 25 Transit. It covers about the whole gamut for everything we've got out there, Toby. And you got 0 down payment, and you got no payments for 90 days. So we've got huge incentives.
That is huge. What else?
Right now, you can get up to $9,000 off a brand new F-150 and get 0% for 66 months.
Anything on SUVs?
Yeah, you've got up to $10,000 off on a 25 Escape right now, Toby.
Holy cow.
Yeah, that's with our $50 over invoice and the 000 promotion. It's a great time.
Lewisburg Ford, what is your phone number?
816-444-2300.
Or LewisburgFord.com.
This is your home for Kansas City sports. 96.5 The Fan, KFNC FM and AM, HD1 and HD2 Kansas City, an Odyssey sports station.
I tell you, I think we have an easier time listing the guys on the Kansas City Chiefs that are healthy versus not healthy at this point. That's what it feels like. After Hours here on 96.5 The Fan, it's your home for Kansas City sports. Logan Weber alongside Nathan Williams. And as if things weren't already really bad, right? Things are grim. Chiefs are 6-8. They are mathematically eliminated from playoff contention. Mahomes tore his ACL and apparently his LCL on Sunday in that loss against the Chargers. Now the entire team is hurt. Official announcement came down today. Leo Chenal, Trent McDuffie, Jalen Moore, Rashee Rice, Jawan Taylor, Tyquan Thornton, all out for Sunday's game. Nazeeh Johnson, out. Derek Nottie, out for this game, along with Jake Brenningstool. I haven't heard that name once all year.
That's a guy.
But he's out. He's not going to play on Sunday.
Logan, you will hear, sorry to interrupt, you will hear his name because the Chiefs traded a late-round draft pick in this upcoming draft for him, and they currently don't have a pick after the 5th round because of that trade. So you'll be familiar with Jake Brenningstool here in a couple of months.
Cool, man. They traded for, he was an undrafted free agent. Apparently, he was the number 1 tight end in the country coming out of high school in 2021. He played at Clemson. He had in 2023 and 24, had a combined 99 catches for about 1,000 yards and 12 touchdowns. Pretty good.
I think we can agree the absence of Brenningstool is what tips this one over the edge in the Titans' favor, right?
I would say, man.
That's the straw that's going to break the camel's back.
Gotta be. Absolutely has to be, man. I mean, I'm surprised the lines aren't shifting dramatically right now in the Tennessee Titans' favor with the loss of Jake Brenningstool. I mean, those guys are all listed as out for this game. Even, just the injury report itself is so lengthy right now. Even guys who are playing, like Chris Jones is listed with a hamstring, Nico Remigio with a knee, Trey Smith still dealing with the ankle issue, Juju has a rib injury, Christian Fulton, a knee, shocking, Brian Cook with a shoulder issue, Hollywood Brown. These are all guys who were listed on the injury report. Now, as far as we know, those guys are going to play. They don't have an injury designation, but oh my God. Things are bad. Things are bad right now. No question about it. Chiefs play at noon in Nashville. They're still listed as 3-point favorites.
It just makes no sense. It makes no sense. Things are really bad, Logan, unless you like high draft picks. If you like high draft picks, things couldn't be going better. Now, I'm not saying the team's tanking. I think they should tank. I think they should openly do all they could to lose this football game. They won't do that. They have too much pride and there's too much integrity, and that you can't have teams openly admitting to it like you can in other sports maybe. This helps that mission, but also what would be the point even if we weren't taking and rushing Rashee Rice back from protocol, or a McDuffie, or a Trey Smith, or a Jawan Taylor? It's a 6-8 football team, man. If Cam Ward goes out and gets a win that riles up Nashville because it's their 3rd win of the season and they get some momentum going into the offseason for beating Gardner Minshew, who will be